Cool. We're recording from there. Plus, then if I don't record from there, then I'll have the picture of you and me next to each other on the screen. that I like to have for everybody. So, how are you doing while I get the movie loaded up?
I'm doing well. Busy.
Yeah.
Life is busy for me right now.
That's how you feel. It's been an extremely busy day for me too. It's my only day off this week, so I've been doing a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So,
It's I, between puppy and my job and homeschooling and a zillion other things.
actually, we just got a new puppy ourselves. Let me see if I can turn the
Oh, nice. What kind of puppy did you get?
camera. Let me turn off my background. Hang on. Let me turn off my background so you can see her. Check me. How do I turn my background off? How do I turn this off?
I don't know.
There we go. There we go. Now I can turn around. There's my new puppy. And their old dog.
Ah, like a lab mix.
Yeah, and then there's our. She's 10. She's just gonna be a year next month.
Okay.
So those are my
Exciting.
puppies. Yeah, that's our
Yeah,
puppy.
we have an Australian Shepherd, and so he's a good dog, but he's an active dog, so
Oh yeah,
he keeps us busy, and but it's good. It gets me outside a lot. I need that. So
makes sense. Yeah, right after I get done with this, I'll jump on the Peloton. So right after I get done with this,
yeah.
it's just continuing to be a busy day. I cleaned my son's room today, which took me most of my morning. Most of the morning. Kid never ever keeps the room straight.
Well, that's the nice thing about having teenagers is I don't really have to worry about that anymore. Just like clean
12.
your room.
He's 12. So after this, he's done his. After this one.
Yeah, sometimes I go in and I say, well, they both have their own room now since our son went to college and moved in with his grandparents a few hours away from us. So the girls both got their own room. And ever since then, they've done a really good job of keeping their rooms clean now that they have their own space. But it used to be I just go in and say, okay, I'll help you get a fresh start. And then you're from you're it's your responsibility from here. So
yeah, for me, I pretty much went in there and said, I'm cleaning while you're in class, and then you keep it this way.
yeah.
4 garbage bags later. Yeah.
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 It was one of those days. All right, I got the movie up here. Now I can actually. Now we can do this. This has been a chaotic day. Ironically, this is not the first time I've had issues, so don't feel bad about that.
Okay, good.
There was a lot of issues with Kyle Crane's connection that took us like 10 minutes to figure out. We're like, we record for a year on the Blake and South show, never have problems. He wants to do D5 at night, yeah, problems. I don't know how that works. I don't know how that works. So, all right, we're good to go here. All right, we're recording. Let's do this in 3, 2. Hello and welcome back to D5 the Mighty Ducks, the show where we're looking back at the 1996 Disney hockey sequel D3 the Mighty Ducks 5 minutes at a time. I'm your host Blake, and on the line today is returning from last season, MMX guest legend Tabitha Carlisle. Tabitha, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
No problem.
Yeah,
So,
I'm glad to be here. It's
yeah,
sorry, I had an awkward moment there. I'm happy to be here.
I'm glad you came back. We've had a lot of return guests this year. It's been nice. Everyone's been coming back for the last movie.
Good.
So before we get into the movie, what are your thoughts on this movie in general? D3 as a movie.
When I watched it the other night, I was trying to remember if I'd ever seen it. I watched the first and the second one so many times when I was growing up. And I feel like maybe I watched the third one once, but I pretty much didn't have any recollection of it. So I'm kind of thinking I'd never seen it before. So I felt like I thought it was good. It was good. There's some times when you're just like, oh, Charlie, come on, get it together, and a lot of uh zoinks, like little background sounds in there that I was like trying to remember if they did that in the other movies or if they kind of stepped up the cheese. But I like the new coach, and yeah, it was fun to see them all grown up, kind of.
Yeah. What's fun about where we are in the movie? It's funny when I was planning the movie out. This whole sequence you got just happened to hit perfectly in a 5-minute chunk. This was not done on purpose. This worked perfectly. I got.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, this doesn't happen often, so take advantage of this. This fits perfectly. So when we last left you last week, when we last left you, the Ducks were going to be getting their they're getting their scholarships reinvoked, which I don't understand the logic behind this. I don't understand why. Because maybe they lost a game or two, maybe. I don't understand what the reasoning here is. But that's where we are. So last week we were discussing whether or not parents are going to be showing up for this meeting. And not a single parent, not even Charlie's mom, is here. Well, how can we have a meeting that conserves all the all the kids, but no parents are here at all?
They show up in this chunk.
I don't see this little clip here. I have pause right here and here. And why is nobody together? Like, it's so weird how
I don't know. They've got the kids all together, and then it's like the parents are kind of like, they show them later. The parents are kind of
so
off
weird
to the side. Yeah.
It's so bizarre. But okay, here we are. We're at the school board meeting. This is a really strange school board meeting because they get right to the point. I've never been to where they get right to the point, like ever. Yeah, that's never happened ever. Do they even have a point on why they're actually trying to revoke their scholarship at this point? Like, I don't understand what's happening here anymore. And I've been watching this movie. I'm like, what is the point? Like, what is the point they're trying to make here by trying to revoke their scholarships?
I think they're just like looking for an excuse to get rid of them. They want to be the top hockey, team, and they did lose a couple games, so they're not up there. But I think they didn't want them in the first place because they took the spots, of some of their kids. And so I don't know that the dean wants to get rid of them. I think it's like the guy that's sitting at the end of the table there on the left, whose son would have been on that JV,
Right.
team that got kicked off there, whose son plays on varsity or whatever. I think they're just they think that the Ducks are less than, and so are just trying to get rid of them from their school because they're being snobs. So
Yeah, it's
I think,
yeah, I don't get it. It's so stupid. It's such a stupid like plot line in here that's been hidden in the background this entire movie. It's kind of been hidden. Like, I don't understand it.
It's like that preppy school versus inner city, struggle that they do in movies sometimes, just like that. They do that in a lot of movies, I think. Like teen movies and stuff of, just the upper snobs. And yeah, I don't know if anything else to say.
It's a weird situation we're in here.
Yeah.
But they don't. What I love about this is they outsmarted they outsmarted them by bringing in Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
We have not seen Gordon most of this movie until like the last 10 minutes. For those who didn't catch this last week, he filmed all of his scenes in a week.
Oh.
Because he obviously was not here most of the time. Because he's not in this movie. Even though, as I was joking last week, he's the first name you see in the credits, but he's been in 10 minutes of the movie.
Emilio.
Oh, yeah. He's a cameo in his own starring film. I don't understand. But enter Gordon. He's here to save the day. I love this whole speech. I love this spiel. And I love the fact that Charlie knows that there's no way in hell they can lose.
Yeah. Yeah. Has Charlie seen Coach Bombay in court before, or does he just like does he just trust his love for them so much that he's not gonna lose?
I think he might be basing it on Gordon's own self-reputation. Because that's the only way he would know anything about how he is in court. Like there's no other reason. But he is amazing here. Just like Slapdash saying, I'm going to actually take this longer than they'll be in college and I'll still be dealing with you. Like, which again, people, this is a high school, this is a private high school. I've been saying that people can see that this is a college. This is not a college, this is a high school. Which is so silly. This is a high school.
Yeah.
I don't understand the logic here, but sure. By the way, we also learned a couple weeks ago that Gordon went to this school. Never stated in any other movie that he actually went to the school, but he went to the school. So that's where he got the brains to do it, to become a very, very, very good lawyer. Cool. Let's go with that. Whatever. Let's go with that. You were right, though. The dean, I wonder do you think the dean knew about this going in, or did they surprise him with Gordon?
I think they surprised him, but I think he's relieved by the outcome because I don't think he thinks it's fair, or it's at least fair at this point. I could see the dean being like, if at the end of the season they're still not performing, then okay, let's revoke their scholarships because we're basically letting them in so that they'll, so we can be really great in hockey and it'll be good press for the school. But I don't think he's ready to kick him out yet. So
yeah,
I think the rest of the movie kind of shows that.
Yeah, I don't think he wanted to kick him out at all.
Yeah.
So what's weird about it is like he doesn't want to kick him out. But at the same time, he has no power, I guess. Like I don't understand the lack of power that he has.
I don't know.
Why does he have no power in his own school? Like,
maybe it's set up that the board has all the power. Some businesses and well, even schools. Like I guess I don't go to a lot of school board meetings, but like the superintendent is still subject to the school board, and so he could still be subject to them, if they override it. He's more of a facilitator at this meeting, I think, than anything.
Yeah, it's a good point. Oh, by the way, I did see the student. I did see the parents. Okay, that's good to know. The parents are here. At least the parents from Minnesota. I want to clarify that. Minnesota, because that's one thing I was saying. At least there are parents that are outside the state, but they're not going to make it here for a school board meeting in 24 hours. That's not going to be a thing. But like most of these students are from Minnesota, so like they should be able to get here for this meeting.
Yeah.
So, I do like the fact that Gordon calls them snobs. Just straight up, he calls them snobs. I'm like, that's cool. Like he does not have to do that. Like, he doesn't have to do that, but it's like perfect. I also like how Charlie goes and says, "You haven't seen anything yet." Much to your point, Tabitha, how would he know that? Like,
right. He just has great confidence in Coach Bombay.
I guess so. I guess you're absolutely right on that. The funny part for me is that he has this confidence in Coach Bombay, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. It's like I don't know. I don't think he understands like the legal system and how this works at all. Because at the same time, they are so freshmen in high school.
Yeah.
I ever understood the legal system freshman year of high school. Yeah.
Yeah. I suppose in some ways, Coach Bombay has been a dad to Charlie. So it's like Charlie just being really like, yeah, my dad can do anything, and so it's kind of like that, and just like, oh yeah, he can do it. He can beat up your dad, he can do this. So I think that Charlie has some of that kind of pride with him, I think.
Yeah, my dad can sue your dad.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Oh man, that's funny. That's very, very funny. I must say, by the way, the Ducks dressed up nice. The Ducks dressed up really, really nice. But I do love to get that. I love the fact that Dwayne is still wearing a cowboy hat. No matter what's going on, he's still a cowboy. It's just a great gimmick, no matter what. Oh man. So Gordon wins the day. Good for him. Yay. But I like about this whole sequence is we're setting up for this pretty much the last like 20 minutes of this movie. Because literally, there's 25 minutes left in this movie. There's not much time for much else in here. And I feel like this whole sequence should have taken place a little bit earlier. Just a tiny bit earlier in the movie. But they were dealing with the plot line of Charlie being a precedent child and then dealing with Hans dying. So that's pretty much what we've been doing for the last like half hour.
And pulling pranks.
Yeah, and the prank war of this movie. The epic prank war that the Ducks won by a landslide, in my personal opinion. One thing I've never noticed until this rewatch, and I noticed it literally minutes before we came on, is Bombay whispers to Charlie for Hans. This is for Hans. I've never noticed that before. So that's cool. That's a nice tie-in.
Yeah.
Here. So I've been commenting. I've had the subtitles on as we're rewatching this, as we're doing the minutes, and I love reading the random text on the bottom of the subtitles because as they cut away from them and they cut to the parent, it says jubilant whistling on the bottom of the screen. Those two words I've never put together to me in a sentence. So there you go. Jubilant whistling. So I will ask you this question. Everyone's been commenting on. Are the stakes too low in this movie compared to everything we dealt with in the last film?
At the end, I felt like it was. I was like, okay, so their big thing was that they beat the varsity. I mean, for a freshman, that's pretty exciting when you beat the varsity in something, But that, I don't know, that seemed a little bit, that was the focus. That it did seem a little low compared to, you would have thought that they just won the Junior Olympics again, or something. Just the excitement. But like I said, I guess for freshmen, that's an exciting thing when you beat, especially when they've been picking on you. So I guess it's in some ways it's just kind of a perspective shift as far as where they're at. But yeah, the excitement seemed really like on par with their excitement of like beating. I forget who did they?
Iceland.
Iceland, yeah. And I don't know.
Well, it was funny because last season we pretty much held the Miracle on Ice story with Iceland instead of Russia, and this year we're doing a full hockey story. Like it's so weird. It's so bizarre. The difference between the stakes in these two movies.
Right.
So, I did notice that I like the fact that Charlie decided I'm going to apologize to everybody and everyone now. I'm just going to apologize to everybody. Everyone's going to like me now. I don't care. I'm just going to apologize. So
well, at least he's doing it.
Yeah, he's apologizing. I do want to say though, did he ever actually apologize to Banks, or did he just say he's one of us? He's back on our team? Because the last time we saw Banks and touching each other.
Yeah, I never heard any apology to Banks. It was just I was kind of surprised to see him in the lineup with the kids, there in the room to get expelled. And I was like, well, I guess he's there on scholarship too, so he would be lumped in. But then just from that point, it was like, well, I don't know. Both Banks and them are like, oh yeah, we're good now.
Yeah, exactly. We're all the same. Well, what's funny about Banks, he's been on the varsity this entire movie. He's been on the varsity. Like, yeah. Now thinking about the logic is, why would they want to get rid of Banks in the school system? Like, it's because he's part of the group, so they have to get rid of him because they're getting rid of the whole team anyway. They can't make it. It's weird, the logic behind that, because they made a big deal about Banks being on varsity.
Yeah. Maybe there's some cut scene where Banks is just like wanting to be with his friends, stand with his friends.
Maybe. That's a good point. Because I just feel like we jumped.
And that there is.
Yeah, I feel like we jumped really fast from like, we're going to have this thing tomorrow to boom, they're out of the school. Like we really jumped quickly. Like, it was like a flash.
Yeah.
Considering the trend of Keaton Thompson stealing every scene he's in this movie, no matter what he says and what he does, he's the one who gets to call out the varsity for being hypocrites, which is awesome to me. Mm-hmm. There's just something about Russ doing this, I
just thought it was so good when he said, I mean, he's had some good lines in this movie as far as kind of standing up to that, but when he was just like free ride, I was like, that's good for you.
Like technically, almost every person in this school has a free ride of some sort because
Right.
either their parents are rich or they're here on scholarship. Like every single person in this.
Right. Right.
Oh man, but yeah, Ross Keenan Thompson has stolen the show in every scene he's been in. I think this might be the last time he really gets a chance to shine because everyone's asked this for playing hockey for pretty much the remainder of the movie. But like, he has been amazing in this movie, and it's crazy how he took over the world after this movie, and this is only his second credit. It's so weird to me. So, and now he's just taking over the world. So, I'm trying to date this recording, but like. He's doing SNL. He's got his own comedy show now. He's doing a whole bunch of stuff. So, like, okay, my logic here. I'm trying to figure out the logic behind. If we beat you in this game, then you're going to leave the school on your own. What kind of stupid logic is that? There's no logic behind that statement at all. Like, so they're going to quit and leave their scholarship because you beat them in a hockey game. What?
They're kids.
Stupid though. Like what? Like, I don't understand logic here. It makes no sense to me at all. Like I don't get it. Oh my god. So anyway, that's where we leave. We leave our minutes here with pretty much Russ telling them that the ducks will fly, and I love Averman jumping in with. This piss him off more, why don't you? Just make him more angry at us. But Charlie tells them we have to go work, and we pretty much are full circle from the beginning of this movie, where Charlie had an issue with working, and now he's going to work, and we'll continue on next week.
Yep.
So that's fun. A fun 5 minutes. But it's weird because like a lot happens in these 5 minutes, but they're all in one scene. Like everything's happening in one scene. Until we get to the end.
Yeah, I didn't know if you did that on purpose. But
no, I didn't. I did not. I did not do that. For those behind the scenes, literally, I did book up the movie by 5 minutes and then figure it out later. I figured it out later where everything was. I was like, wow, that works out. It really works out nicely. So, all right. Before I move on to our last question of the show, next week, I'm going to have Adam Sheehan making his debut on this podcast. First time he's been on this show. And my buddy Scotty Fellows, coming back from season 1, will be on next week's show to continue on with them working. We'll get to that next week. Tabitha, our question for this season, it's been a fun one. I'm not going to lie. Everyone's had some fun stories. Has been your craziest or funniest high school story. So Tabitha, the floor is yours.
So you told me that this question was going to be asked, and I thought about it, and I really don't have a lot of funny, crazy high school stories. I don't know. I was just I blocked out a lot of my school years growing up, and I was like trying to think. I'm like, the stuff that I can think of that might be funny to me isn't funny to anybody else.
You'd be surprised.
I don't know. I don't really. So I guess I don't know. It's not funny, but it's something that was fun. So I grew up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, so pretty northern Midwest, and we play a lot of euchre, and so that was like you all knew how to play euchre. It wasn't just an older person's game, and so we had at least one teacher our senior year that he would let us play euchre in class if we got our work done quick enough, or if we got our work done, so we got ours done quick enough. So we would play euchre in class, and we would just that year, I don't know, we'd play euchre any chance that we got. I mean, this is before cell phones and things like that, so just anything fun. So we'd play euchre on the bus, we'd flip over the trash can and stuff, and we'd play on the bus, which would distract us from the fact that when our bus didn't have heat and we're going to be on the bus up in the winter, like for an hour long bus ride, and the bus has no heat, and you've got your blankets on you and everything, and play euchre and take your mind off of it. And
that's funny. That is actually
and
funny.
stuff.
It's
So
funny. Hey, not everything has to be over the top. That's one thing I've learned this season. Not everything has to be over the top. It's all good. All right.
yeah.
Well, that's fine. That's absolutely funny. No, actually, I feel like everyone has their thing. Like everyone's got something. It's all good. Well, Tabitha, is there anything you need to plug, or as I joked at the beginning, the professional guest person? But
Yeah. I I don't host my own podcast. I just have had the privilege of guesting on different minute by minute podcasts, and I guess I'll just plug a couple that I've guested on, and the episodes are still to come out. So when Indiana Jones Minute comes back, my husband Jonathan and I will be guesting on that. We'll be guesting on Rocky Minute, American Graffiti Minute when that comes out, and I was thinking there was another one. Maybe there isn't. I can't think of it at the moment. Oh, when my husband's podcast, UHF 60-second, comes back from hiatus someday, I'll be on an episode for that too. So I have a few out there.
that makes sense. That makes sense. Well, obviously, people can hear this show at all podcasting platforms. Go buy a Defy the Mighty Ducks t-shirt and wear it while you're watching Game Changers on Fridays on Disney Plus. And as for me, you can hear me on the Liquor House Show every Friday. We do not miss a week through this entire pandemic and beyond. We do not miss a week. And even when we take a week off, you still get an episode. It's been a cool run. You can hear every single place you get podcasts, including, let's go iHeartRadio. Let's go with that one. Why not this week? Tabitha, thank you so much for coming on. This was really a lot of fun. And for those behind the scenes that realize the tech issues took us to get this recording done. But, hey, it was worth it. I'm so glad you did the show. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you again for having me. Always good to talk with you.
Anytime. Like I said, next week, I'm going to have Adam Sheehan and Scotty Phillips on to continue on with the movie. We are approaching the end of this movie, people. We only got a few more weeks left. So it's crazy. That means a few more weeks left in this show. I think people are not realizing this. This show is over. When this season's over, I'm done with the show. So, 2 more weeks, and we're done. So, till next week, thank you all for listening, and I will see you all then. Have a good day, everybody. And we are out. Let me end. Wrong button. Wrong button. Let me do this. Stop recording. There we go. Thank you so much. And I'm sorry about all the tech issues. I'm going to figure out my laptop issues before next week because I got a Blake South Show recording to do next week.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Thanks again for having me.
No problem.